Greetings. Frederick Riddle here with another episode of Christian News and Views. This is episode 243, and this is Wednesday. And we are now in what I call Schumer's shutdown. Began at 12:01 a.m. today. So on the first day of the 2013 government shutdown, Senator Chuck Schumer, Democrat from New York, had a message for Republicans who refused to fund the government unless Congress defunded Obamacare. Hostage taking would not work. So he said this: as we said 1,000 times, we are happy to discuss how to fund the government. But now with a gun to our heads, Schumer said on the Senate floor, you are not going to get us to give in to extortion, he continued. You are not going to take as hostage millions of innocent Americans and succeed in getting us to do something you want, and we don't, and they don't. That shutdown ended after 16 days, and Republicans had little to show for it. That was 2013. 12 years later, Schumer and Democrats, now in the minority, are staring down another government shutdown, but one that might be of their own making. In the Senate, Democrats are withholding support for a measure to keep the government funded at current levels unless Republicans extend subsidies that help some Americans pay for health care through the Affordable Care Act, which are set to expire at year's end, among other demands. It's a page out of a playbook pioneered by the GOP and Senator Ted Cruz, a Republican from Texas, and used repeatedly since 2013. But for the first time, Democrats are poised to oppose funding the government. Schumer and House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries left a White House meeting with President Donald Trump and top GOP leaders without an agreement on the path forward. I think we're headed to a shutdown because the Democrats won't do the right thing, Vice President J.D. Vance said on the White House driveway after the meeting. When Congress averted a shutdown in March, Schumer and 9 other Democrats voted with Republicans to extend funding until the end of the fiscal year. At the time, he argued that a shutdown would empower the Trump administration and the Elon Musk-led Department of Government Efficiency to continue radically reshaping the federal government. Under a shutdown, the Trump administration will have wide-ranging authority to deem whole agencies, programs, and personnel as non-essential, furloughing staff members with no promise they would ever be rehired, Schumer wrote in the New York Times explaining his vote. Now the Senate minority leader has reversed himself, but denying that the pivot is due to political pressure, instead arguing that the deal cut in the spring hasn't stopped the Trump administration from pushing out federal workers. We're hearing from the American people that they need help on health care, he said on Meet the Press. As for these massive layoffs, guess what? Simple one-sentence answer. They're doing it anyway. While the American public has sided with Democrats in past shutdowns, it has been in fights in which Republicans tried to extract policy changes. After the shutdown over defunding Obamacare in 2013, 53% of respondents to an ABC News Washington Post poll blamed Republicans for the shutdown, compared to 29% who blamed then President Barack Obama and 15% who blamed both sides equally. After Trump led Republicans into a futile shutdown to extract border wall funding from the Democrat-led House in January 2018, 48% of respondents blamed the president and Republicans for the shutdown, compared to 28% who followed the Democrats. With roles reversed, Democrats could be in line to get blamed for a new shutdown. Okay, I'll hold off. And Republicans in charge of both chambers could force messaging votes that underscore Democrats' opposition to funding the government and the services it provides. But this may not be a typical funding fight, given the Trump administration's threats to use the shutdown to fire even more federal workers and ongoing efforts to block spending agreements already approved by Congress over policy disputes. Many Democratic voters have also pushed their leaders to take on the Trump administration more forcefully, and a shutdown could be a venue for doing so, despite the potential impact on government services. If Congress can't reach a deal, and they didn't, and the government shuts down, it's not clear how long an impasse will last. It's also not clear how long voters will hold it against Washington leaders more than a year away from the 2026 midterms. But all eyes will be on congressional leaders who now find themselves in unexpected roles. So here's my opinion on this. The Schumer shutdown of our government has already begun. And yes, they're going to be blamed because they are to blame. In the past, the Republicans were blamed, but it was quite often, it's always both parties involved, and even here. But the Republicans were often blamed when they weren't. The problem was the Republicans didn't have a way of communicating themselves. Trump is the great communicator. Well, actually, the best of that was Ronald Reagan, but he's pretty good. Trump's pretty good too. And they have a message that is ringing with those of us, American people. So Schumer's shutdown of our government has begun, and with it, perhaps some unforeseen circumstances. In the past, as I said, Democrats have always painted the Republicans as the party responsible for a shutdown. This time it is different. The truth is that this is Senator Schumer's shutdown. He identified what would happen if they did shut down. He did that in the spring. Facts haven't changed since then. He's come under political pressure. He can deny it all he wants, but that's what's happened. He's come under political pressure to be more forceful, to oppose Trump. And he doesn't have anything there to stand on, so he has to create one. And it's backfiring already. He is trying to avoid that identification, but it is already there. I'm calling it Schumer's election, but I didn't, rather Schumer's shutdown. I didn't create that or come up with that idea. I liked it as soon as I heard it. I thought it was very fitting, but I believe it was somebody in the government that came up with the term. But the thing is, it's a correct term. He might as well own up to it. Might as well assume ownership of it, because that is his shutdown. He could have stopped it at any moment. Oh, sure, he might have had to make a sacrifice. He may have even had been forced to step down from his leadership role. But whatever that cost, it would have saved people's jobs. It would have saved any pains our economy is going to go through, or any painful that you and I might feel. So it was his choice all the time. He can't put it on the Republican. He's trying to, but he can't, because it's his shutdown. So how does this impact us? Well, that's hard to tell. You listen to people talking, and they're all saying the same thing. Well, it's hard to tell. But for those of you, and this is my observation, from over the years, I've noticed a lot of different shutdowns. And there are some things, there's some facts that have come forth. I can't quote them as far as references and so forth. Check them out for yourself. But I want to assure you, if you're on Social Security, they are going to continue. I get Social Security. I'm 82 years old, so obviously I'm getting Social Security. That's going to continue. I expect it to continue on time. Just because the government shut down doesn't mean the government stops working. It's just on a slimmer scale. The government will continue to function, like I said, on a smaller scale. The really interesting aspect is that Schumer's shutdown gives President Trump a gift. The very gift he was talking about back in, I think it said March. President Trump can now lay off federal workers in glutted departments and eliminate the waste that's there. That is something that's needed to be done. And they had gone about as far as they thought they could go. But now this is a gift to them. And it's like saying, okay, here you are, go ahead and clean up the department, downsize the government. It's a gift. As for the man in the street, that's you and me, there will be some belt tightening. The longer it lasts, the more painful it can become. But Trump can use this to trim the size of government down, which is a good thing. In fact, that will be the short term might be painful for us, but long term, this is going to be a good thing for us. This is going to be something that we will look back at later on and be glad that it happened because Trump had the opportunity to trim, and if he has that opportunity, he's going to take it. So this will make our government more efficient. It'll cut down some of our government expense, the waste that's out there, and it won't solve our debt, our national debt, but it will help slow it down and maybe even put it in reverse. That would be nice. So I hope that you have enjoyed this today, given my perspective. Take it, chew on it, think about it, and let me know what you think. That would be very interesting to know what those of you out there who watch this podcast think about not only my comments, but about the whole Schumer's shutdown. Well, that's it for today. I always try to give you information to encourage you and to inspire you. Hopefully, I've done at least one of those today. And meantime, I'll see you in the next episode.